Imagine you're at the doctor's and your doctor says the only choice that you have to correct this issue that you are experiencing is to have surgery. There's going to be a lot of fear, a lot of worries, a lot of confusion, a lot of uncertainty. And this is my experience with my 14 procedures on how I felt, whether surgery is scary, how I overcame my general fears of all my procedures, emergency surgeries, day surgeries, and cosmetic injectable procedures.
I found self-love, hope you do the same.
See on the screen all the different procedures that I did have, ranging from emergency surgeries, day surgeries, as well as dental and injectables. Satisfaction and being content with the result was a huge factor in the whole experience, scary or not scary. Fear definitely comes from unfamiliarity, so I found that the surgery that I was most scared for, gave birth to Galahad, had an emergency C-section, and because it was an emergency C-section, I didn't really know what to expect. That was the most scariest experience. There are multiple levels of fear as well, whether you are scared of the pain, scared of if the results go wrong. I am very satisfied and happy with every single one of my procedures because all of them are able to get me a little bit healthier, a little bit closer to my healthiest self. Another factor that can play into many mixed feelings with surgeries is the price, because they tend to be quite pricey. You wonder if it's going to be worth the amount that you spend. You're going to wonder if it's going to turn out the way that you want it to. And I think this area definitely heavily relies on the research that you do, the trust that you put into your doctors and professionals, the direness that you have with the result that you are aiming to achieve. I do want to make a disclaimer that in no way am I condoning any addictive behaviors towards surgery. I just wanted to speak from my experience, and I know this is an area in terms of a mental, emotional impact on. And I also just wanted to share more details from my personal opinion and also my personal experience. Then we have what surgery actually feels like. Obviously, the extremity of the surgery and the invasiveness would definitely play a part into how it would feel and what your recovery would be like. I felt the most fear, I think, during my tonsillectomy, because I felt like with my complication and a lot of bleeding that came out of my throat, I was really scared that something was going to go wrong. I had to get an emergency treatment after my surgery. It was a few days after my surgery, and we had to call an ambulance at like 5 a.m. I was like most afraid, but I think that fear definitely went away the moment that I knew I was in good hands. I asked my questions, or I had any questions that I had, to the emergency response medic, and because he was able to answer all my questions and mindset was very calm, it was able to bring me more peace. Because most of my surgeries were actually, I think, half and half. Like, I was under general anesthesia and then half I was under local anesthesia, so that means that I was put to sleep for half of them, and then for the other half it was, actually I wouldn't even say half, maybe. This is the percentage. I am bad at numbers, so I'll have to edit it in. The surgeries that are with local anesthesia is when they numb the area with a freezing medication. I would say it's definitely scarier to experience someone looming over you while you are awake. In my personal experience, because you are conscious and you're thinking and you are kind of feeling tugs but not necessarily pain. I find if I were to do another procedure at any level of necessity later on, I would definitely be most scared of the recovery process, because that is almost the most painful aspect of surgery, because you do have the numbing and freezing agents. The actual surgery pain is not necessarily something that you have to go through, but the fact that you have to recover and get better after, and the pain associated with the cuts or with um, anything like that, I think that is what I would fear most, even though I know it's something inevitable, it's going to come, and it's a part of any medical procedures. The main thing that helps me to get over my fear with my surgeries is knowing and keeping in mind the end goal, the end result. Even with my septorhinoplasty, my nose job, I really had to keep thinking, like, I'm going to be able to breathe better. Like, I'm going to be able to breathe. And just knowing how much I was suffering without the surgery was really helpful in bringing me peace in my heart and my mind, the fear and anxiety or any depression that would have happened afterwards. Even with my wisdom tooth removal, I had an emergency wisdom tooth extraction because my top wisdom tooth was exploding the gum under. It's called an exploding gum, where the top wisdom tooth chews down on the overlaying gum on the bottom wisdom tooth. It was causing extreme pain. I don't think I was bleeding, but it was very painful. And I was brought into my dental clinic the day after to address this and have an emergency tooth extraction. Our family dental clinic does do braces and implants as well, but Dr. Tsai, he really helped me with both of my emergency tooth extractions, was my exploding gums. So I had an exploding gum on my right side, and then the year after, I had another exploding gum on my left side because the pain was extremely more unbearable than the actual surgery or the needle that freezes you. I think that really helped with my fear of the emergency extraction. I was just like, you know what, like, I'm gonna feel so much better after I get this removed. And the recovery pain was, I would say, like 20% of the pain that I was experiencing with the exploding gum. I want to make a separate video about injectables because I think this is almost a whole different area of cosmetic medical aesthetic procedures than surgeries would be. But I did have a few injectable procedures done, as you can see on the screen. And this is, I think, a huge aspect that people always want more information on, because it is a non-invasive way to achieve certain goals that you may have. I just got a second round of muscle relaxants. It's a form of Botox. Botox is just a different brand name, but Dysport, I think it's called Dysport. I got it done on my jaws to help with TMJ, jaw clenching, pain, and that sort. But I definitely think all of these medical resources can become a really helpful tool to get to where we want to be and to become healthier. Obviously, there is a risk of addiction or putting standards too high, especially when it comes to aesthetics or how we want to look. But this is my experience with the feelings of fear or general, is it scary? It is, but only with all those other factors not in line. I guess you would have to do a checklist of whether you feel safe, whether you feel like you trust your professionals, and whether it's a good time to invest in this area if it's something optional you're doing. Obviously, if it's not optional, there could be more fear associated because you may feel like you don't have as much control over your body or over your life. But I really hope that this video helped you in some way. Please let me know what other content you'd like to see on this channel, and I will see you next time. Bye!